Your harvest is coming in by the basketful and you've canned and frozen so much food. Are you also dehydrating your food for long-term storage? It's a great way to preserve the flavors and nutrients and extend the shelf life of your fruits and vegetables. Today we'll be going through step by step on how to dehydrate your harvest. Welcome to the Old Mayfield Place. I'm Snow the farmer's wife, and I teach you to be more self-sufficient in so many ways, such as growing your own food, using herbal medicine, preserving food for long-term storage, and more. People have been dehydrating food for preservation for thousands of years, much longer than we've been canning or freezing it. Here are the best practices for dehydrating your harvest. Select fresh and ripe, but not overripe produce that is free from blemishes, bruises, or signs of decay. The quality of the vegetables will directly affect the nutritional value of the dehydrated product. Wash your fruits and vegetables thoroughly under running water to remove dirt, bugs, and other contaminants. If you are dehydrating herbs or greens such as spinach or kale, you may want to use a salad spinner to get most of the water off first, and then gently pat dry the leaves. Trim any damaged areas from the vegetables as necessary, and peel root vegetables such as potatoes and carrots. To ensure even drying, you can slice, dice, shred, or chop the fruits and vegetables into uniform pieces. Some vegetables benefit from blanching before dehydrating. Blanching involves briefly immersing the vegetables in boiling water, followed by an immediate plunge into an ice water bath to halt the cooking process. This helps to preserve the food in 3 ways. Enzymes that are naturally present in vegetables can cause quality deterioration, color loss, and flavor changes during storage. Blanching deactivates these enzymes, which helps preserve the color, flavor, and nutritional content of the vegetables. It helps reduce the number of bacteria on the surface of the vegetables, enhancing the overall safety and shelf life of the dehydrated product. And blanching can help maintain the texture of vegetables by partially cooking them, which can be beneficial after rehydration. Common vegetables that benefit from blanching include carrots, green beans, and broccoli. However, not all vegetables require blanching. If you're using a dehydrator, arrange the prepared vegetables on the dehydrator trays in a single layer. Make sure there's some space between the pieces to allow air circulation for even drying. If you use an oven, place parchment paper or silicone baking mats on baking sheets to prevent your produce from sticking. The temperature at which you dehydrate your food will have a big effect on the nutritional value of the final product. You want dehydrated food, not cooked food. You also don't want molded food. Too high a temperature can cook the nutrients out of it. Too low a temperature can cause the food to mold before it's dehydrated. And different foods require different temperatures to achieve the best results. Consult your dehydrator's manual for recommended temperatures and drying times. If you're using an oven, set it to the lowest possible temperature, which is usually 140 or 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Prop the oven door open slightly to allow moisture to escape. Drying times can vary based on the product type, the thickness, and the moisture content. The humidity in the room can also affect the time it takes to get a dried product. After a few hours, periodically check your produce for dryness. They should be brittle and break easily when bent. Because there may be temperature differences in different areas of your dehydrator or oven, it's a good idea to rotate your trays front to back and then move them to different shelves to make sure everything is getting dry. To test if your produce is fully dried, allow a few pieces to cool for a few minutes, then press them between your fingers. If they are crisp and there's no moisture present, they are ready. If they feel leathery or have moisture, they need more drying time. Be sure to test more than one piece from more than one area of the dehydrator to make sure your entire load is dry. Allow your dried produce to cool to room temperature before packaging. This prevents condensation inside the packaging, which can lead to spoilage. Place your dehydrated food into a glass container with an airtight lid, such as a mason jar. Do not overpack the jar. You want some space to rotate your food so you can monitor it for the first week for any moisture you may have missed. Moisture is the enemy of dehydrated food, and you want to catch it before it ruins your product. Once a day, check your jar closely and look for any condensation on the inside. Gently rotate the jar from top to bottom and look for any clumping or sticking to the inside of the jar. Dehydrated herbs may stick to the inside of the jar because of static electricity. If you can tap the jar gently and it lets go, you're good. If it looks damp, you will want to put it back into the dehydrator for a few hours. Fruits are a bit tricky because they contain so much sugar they naturally tend to clump and stick. If the fruit is stuck to the jar but dislodges easily if you give it a bit of a hard shake, you're good. If it stays stuck even when you bang on the jar, you will want to put it back into the dehydrator. After doing these checks every day for a week and the food is definitely dry, you can put it into long-term storage. Store your dehydrated vegetables in airtight containers or vacuum-sealed bags to prevent moisture and air from entering. By the way, Ziploc bags are not airtight and are not a good choice for long-term storage. Don't forget to label the containers with the contents and date of dehydration, especially if you're keeping your food in Mylar bags that don't allow you to see your food. If you like surprises, don't label your bags and take your chances when you open them. Keep the containers in a cool, dry, and dark place for longer shelf life. As long as your food is still dry when you open it, it is safe to eat. However, the longer it sits, the more nutrients it will lose, so you will want to eat it within a year or two. If you powder your food, use this within 6 months for the best nutrition. If you open a jar or vacuum-sealed bag and you see mold or moisture, throw all of the food away, not just the pieces you see mold on. If there is visible mold on some of it, there is a very good chance that there is invisible mold on all of it. It's not worth the risk of getting sick to try to eat that food. Just toss it out. When you're ready to use your dehydrated produce, you can rehydrate it by soaking it in liquid, such as water or broth, or add it directly to soups or stews. In general, use about 1 cup of liquid to rehydrate a 1/4 cup of dried produce. But this isn't an absolute rule. It's a starting place. You can use room temperature water and soak your food overnight, or you can use boiling water and soak your food for 30 to 60 minutes. The time it takes to rehydrate will depend on the size and type of food. You can also eat your dehydrated food dry for snacks such as banana chips, apple slices, or zucchini chips. These make delicious and nutritious snacks. Thanks for stopping by the Old Mayfield place today. Stay healthy, get that food dehydrated, and have a blessed week.